Today, we've got an express bet with odds of 14.55. Before we start, make sure to subscribe. Here, I break down the National and Continental Hockey Leagues. And of course, hit that like button for good luck. Don't hesitate to spare a second of your precious time. All of this helps promote my video further. And one more thing, I'll find a solid single bet, put a large amount on it, and post it in my Telegram channel. The link to my Telegram is in the description and in the first pinned comment. And as always, I'll truly appreciate your thoughts in the comments. Alright, let's start with the first match. Toronto is hosting Calgary. Yeah, of course. Toronto hasn't really shined this season so far. Plus, there are a few injuries as well. Right now, Nylander is questionable. Also, it's still unclear when backup goalie Wall will return. But it looks like he should be back in action pretty soon. As for the main goalie, Stolars, he's not really showing the level of play he's capable of. And Toronto is rightfully sitting in 12th place at the moment. Matthews hasn't really been visible either so far, even though he's a goal scorer, as you know. But now Calgary has come to visit them, and they're in last place. But in every game, these guys gave it their all. They fought hard, really showed high XG numbers, but just couldn't convert their chances. Yeah, there was a crazy streak of bad luck, but in their last game, they pulled off a confident win against the Rangers, beating them 5-1. Now, riding that wave of confidence, they're gonna push forward full throttle. And I'm gonna take over 2 goals for Calgary at a great odds. I think it's 1.57. Well, the next game is Philadelphia hosting Pittsburgh. Yeah, of course. When it comes to the Penguins, I think hardly anyone expected them to be in second place in the East right now. As I already mentioned, all the analysts were predicting they'd finish last in the East. After all, the Crosby and Malkin era was supposed to be over, but no, they're still carrying the team forward. They really bring the energy. Yeah, Philadelphia had a bit of a rough start, but now they've gotten back on track. But just look at the form the Penguins are in right now. The only reason I'm not picking the Penguins to win in regulation is because they're playing back-to-back games. They just played a great game against St. Louis. They beat them 6-3. That's why I think they'll still try to conserve a bit of energy. Slow down just a little. So I'm going to take our parlay with a +1.5 spread. Right now, guys, the odds for plus 1.5 are 1.55. All right, and our next matchup is just a second. Buffalo is hosting Columbus. Yeah, at first glance, you might think there's not even any need to analyze this one. Buffalo plays strictly offensive hockey. Yeah, they've got a great lineup for sure. They lost Peterka in the offseason, but still managed to keep a solid roster. With Thompson leading the way alongside Dahlin, they're really playing some great hockey. Columbus is just an amazing team. By the way, they managed to beat the Penguins in their last game. They won in the shootout, but during regulation, what a fireworks show that was. 4-4. But in the previous game, they lost to Washington, of course, 1-5. Still, Columbus doesn't have a reliable defense, just like Buffalo. Although their main goalie is back now, I'm not going to drag this out for too long. Well, pretty obvious here. I'm going to bet on over 5.5 goals in this game. Let's add it to the parlay and move on. Next up, we've got Colorado hosting New Jersey. Yeah, things aren't going too well for the Avalanche right now. 4 losses in a row after all. But those losses don't really reflect how they've been playing, so to speak. 3 of those games went beyond regulation. And in the last one, they played against New Jersey. Yeah, New Jersey is on a great winning streak right now. They're just setting new season records. Will they be able to keep it going? I think it's going to be really tough for them. By the way, Markstrom is coming back to New Jersey's lineup. Allen did his job well, but Markstrom is still their main goalie. Yeah, Colorado definitely has it out for him. 4 losses, and they lost to them in the last game too. In any case, they're gonna give it everything they've got. Well, New Jersey is riding high right now. They're on a roll, and they're just gonna keep playing their brand of hockey. That's exactly why I'm looking at the bet where each team scores over 1.5 goals. I think 1.48 is a great option. All right, and our next matchup is Edmonton versus Utah. Yeah, Edmonton, as always, is off to a rough start this season, even though they fought in the finals against Florida last year, and the year before that too. But guys, the start of the season is just business as usual. There's one problem. The goalie duo of Skinner and Pickard, these guys just aren't top tier. Yeah, Bouchard and Nurse are solid on defense. McDavid, Draisaitl, Podkolzin, all those guys are absolutely insane, putting up great numbers up front, but the defense still leaves a lot to be desired. That's why Utah, who are absolutely on fire right now with 7 wins in a row, even though they had a bit of a rough start, well guys, the roster has changed and it's gotten a lot stronger. They'll still make some noise, maybe even lose to Edmonton, but I think they'll definitely make their presence felt this season. Based on everything I've just said, Utah's in great shape. Edmonton, as usual, is having trouble on defense. I think here you can simply bet on both teams to score over 1.5 for decent odds, around 150 if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, 147 for that probability, where Edmonton concedes but also responds and both plays and lets others play. Seems like a reasonable option to me. And the last matchup is Seattle versus Montreal. Despite those 2 wins over Winnipeg and Edmonton, Montreal is something else entirely. This is a young team that I think will win the Stanley Cup in the next 2 or 3 years because they really have some promising guys, young players who are showing a new level. I won't talk for long about this either. Here, I give my preference exclusively to Montreal. I like both their offense and defense. And Dobes is just playing outstandingly. Yes, Montembolt's a little behind, but I think for this match, they'll probably put Dobes in anyway, because he's really on fire. And I'm gonna bet on Montreal with a draw no bet. The final odds came out to 14.55. Thanks everyone for watching. If you haven't liked the video yet, make sure to do so and subscribe to my channel. And as I said, I'll post one high quality pick that I'm gonna bet a large amount on in my Telegram channel. You'll find the link in the description.